study that. I already know the Python. That is the reason I left the meeting. Okay, or left the training session. So this presentation, we learn what is Python, features and applications, and downloading and installing the Python, running the Python. So Python is a general purpose, high level, interpreted programming language. Okay. So normally for any purpose, it is designed not only for a specific application. It is designed for general purpose. It can be used in many applications, any category of, even the geographical analysis, even geographical mapping, even for web designing, even for the robotics, even for cloud technology, even for testing. Okay, everywhere Python is used. Why? Because it's return based, it is generalized and written in that manner. Okay, so developed by Gustav and Rassen in the late 1980s in the National Research Institute of the Mathematics and Computer Science in Netherlands. So Python is one of the most popular and widely used program languages for sets of tasks, including console-based, UI-based, and web programming and data analysis. Okay, so we can run the Python in a console like a command prompt. Console means command prompt, right? Linux command, and even GUI-based, like we are using. Um, uh, and here we can also use this Python for GUI based, and we can also use that for the web programming and data analysis. Okay, Python is named based on the comedy television show, so Monty's Python's Flying Circle. Okay, so that is a fact. Okay, so you can Google it. So how the Python is named, because see, most of people's career now are based on the Python. So we have to learn little bit how it started, who started, and how it was named. So what is their uses? These are the basic things you have to remember. So Python is named based on the comedy television show Monty Python's Flying Circus. Okay, so it is developed by Bodo van Rossum in the late 1980s. Okay, maybe you have seen this picture in your lab. Okay, so it is very easy to learn and easy to use, and Python is easy to compared with the other language, and it is developer friendly, and it is in a high level language. It is an interpreted language because no need of compilation. This makes debugging easy and suitable for the beginner. So compilation, as you all of you know, when you are running a C program, first it will be compiled, then an exe file will be even Java compiled, then exe file will be created, which will run on the uh, those exe files. Once the compilation is done, it will generate an exe code. Exe code means binary code, which can be run. So which is like a command. So when you are in running any command, it is nothing but again a program, right? Command is again a program. So this Python, whatever commands you are running using the Python, they're again a programmer which are interpreted directly. You need not to compile again. So it's an interpreted language, and it's a cross-platform language. So we can run on Windows, Linux, Unix, and Macintosh, and any portable language. So it's free and open source. Coming to the features, it's free and open source. The Python interface is developed under an open source license, making it free to install, use, and distribute. And it's an object-oriented language. I think that's Python support. English. 1 minute, please. Huh? Okay, చూడండి వేరే దాంట్లో చూడండి. So Python supports object-oriented language, and concepts of classes and objects come into the existence. Okay, so all the object-oriented concepts, concepts, or you have learned maybe in C++ and Java, right? C is a procedural language. C++ and Java is a object-oriented language, right? So where object-oriented language, in the object-oriented language, we come across the classes and objects, right? So these classes and objects uh, makes considers everything into the whenever any object consider any object-oriented language, it considers everything in terms of the classes and objects, right? Where the code is decreased using the object and code and all the object oriented inheritance, security, abstraction, all these are included in the object oriented programming language. So these object oriented programming languages are very came into the existence, and now everything is converted into the object oriented. So the Python supports this concept, okay, and it also supports the GUI programming support, okay, and it is normally graphical user interface can be developed using the Python, okay, and it is integrated. It can be easily integrated with other languages like C, C++, Java, etc. So coming to the Python application, you can use anywhere the Python, like software development, in the web development, machine learning, and AI, and desktop GUIs, web scraping, data science and visualization. Everywhere the Python applications are there. Okay, it can be embedded in any of in. We can use it in everywhere. Not only these are the very common things which are used, but there are much more coming to the Python. Okay, you can use the current version. Okay, we can directly load them into our systems. When you are using the Windows, it is based on the Windows, and when you want to load in the Linux, uh, uh, so we have to go to the python.org. Then we can download like this. Okay, so for different OS like Windows, it will give us the option to download the Windows, or if it is Linux, we can use the Linux. Okay. So if you are using something like Mac or something, we can use different commands like if you're using Windows, we'll download it and we'll click on the exe file. Okay, then it will install. Okay. Um, then after installing, we can uh, we can check for whether it is installed or not. Okay, so for running the Python script, what we can do, so we can use the different methods, uh, what we call interactive interpret. We can use the interactive interpreted form, we can use the script file. So interactive interpreter prompt is Python provides us with the feature to execute the Python statement one by one in an interactive prompt. So we'll install the Python, then we'll go to the Python. Then it will come with the command prompt where we can execute some Python command. The second category is, uh, so we'll see here, so this person install Python. Okay. Then once the Python is installed, he's typing as Python, then this will come. Then these prompts will be coming. There you can start executing the each command. So this is a command. Print hello means it will print the hello. So this is it is for a one after the other. If you want to execute some commands, you can use this uh, interpreted mode, right, where you can execute one after the other all the commands. Okay, so then otherwise what you can do, you can write a script. Okay, see, this is one way. This is one way where you can where you can run, or you can, what you can do simply, you can write all the program in a script file, in a file, where that file can be written using the notepad or any editor. Like any editor means normally we use the VS Code for editing the programs, right? Or there are plenty of different editors where we can use it, and we can run the file name. We'll run all. We'll type all the Python code over there. Then we'll execute the Python program. We'll save the Python program with the extension of py. Then simply by giving the py dot, okay, what we'll do, we'll simply, here you can see we have saved this with the first py. We have written a file and we saved that with the first dot py. Then this first dot py will be having a script called print hello and print welcome to the Python programming. Then we are running this total file at a time, like Python space file name. First dot py is the file name. Then we'll that output, it will get, we'll get an output over there, is extension, and in that already Python will be installed by default. Okay, mostly everyone will install the Python. Python extension, it will install the Python extension. Then these we can install here. Already it is installed for me, and even we can directly, the another mode of, after using the extension, we can run the program here. We'll type some code, I'll save the py, and we'll go live and we'll check the output. Or in the terminal, we can check the output. So the another category of using the Python is normally for the practices. Most of the people will, even VS Code is used, as well as I said, in the Anaconda Navigator, which includes many applications. So it is starting, just wait. Here we'll have the Jupyter notebook. So it will help us to create. So here in this, we'll have, this is an environment we are setting up for our packages which we require to execute. So based on the environment, we can set up. So these are the different different IDEs which can, where we can run, like we can run RStudio also. Okay, where we can work with the R. Okay, and we can run PyCharm also. Okay, and we can also run different Jupyter Lab, and we can run the Jupyter Notebook also. Okay, so this Jupyter Notebook will give us an interface. Okay, 1 minute, 1 minute. It will give us an interface. So where this interface allow us to execute the different commands, right? Here we can create a new file. In the new file or in the new terminal, we can practice this. This is the mostly good option, or VS Code is also good practice. Okay? But mostly once you are becoming a little bit middle level, okay, not a very beginner, you have to go with the VS Code better. Okay, so we are here like this. We can execute the command. To here, while we are using this, there are plenty of options, keyboard shortcuts, where you can directly to run a selected cell, shift and enter. Okay, if you If it you by pressing the shift and enter, we can run a selected cell. Okay, and after running the cell, if you want to go to the next, also there are different commands like uh, to redo shift command plus z, and or undo command plus z. Run the selected is shift enter. Find the next is command and G, and find previous is shift command and G, and find is command and F. So activate the next tab is control shift J. Activate next tab. So like that we use different what we call uh, all these options so that we can run the program very quickly. So if you go through this, you will get all the keyboard shortcuts, right? So that's that is, and we'll discuss when we discuss NumPy and Pandas, how we load it, all those things. We'll discuss afterwards. Anyway, so these are the different interfaces. So for that, you can for Anaconda, directly you can check in Anaconda, and you have to type like Anaconda download. Otherwise, it will go to the Anaconda movie. Okay, so you can download the Anaconda directly here. Okay, so it's a free download. Okay, and you can, but your RAM should be more. Okay, um, for VS Code, you can also Visual Studio Code. So mostly these are the practicing models where you can download this VS Code. This is also free, and you can run you can run any applications, mostly any kind of Node or Python or anything in the VS Code. Okay, but today's sessions will mostly implement is using the Jupyter. Then tomorrow we'll go with the VS Code so that you can practice. We can do the in both. We can practice in both, right? Uh, so today we discussed first in the first topic we have discussed quickly. I'll review. So what is Python? Its features. Okay, good of Van Razen, and Python is based on the television show Monty Python Flying Circus, and it's a general purpose, and it is easy to use and interpreted language, cross-platform language, and it is free and open source. Open source means you need not to pay, right? And it is an object-oriented language, and geo programming support and integrated. It can be easily integrated. Then it can be implemented in many of applications, and you can download. I have shown you different we have. So these Anaconda and Jupyter notebook or a VS code, or they like notepad, right, using which you can edit something and run something. These platforms will help us to execute the Python program, but basic Python should be loaded into our system. So we can directly load, or using those tools also you can install the Python. Okay. When we are directly loading, you can if it is Windows or Mac or Linux, based on that you can load, and you can check directly the Python execution using the Python in the command prompt, and you can there also you can directly try for executing the commands or executing the script. So um, how do we save this? We'll save the Python with .py file, okay, and that Python space Python space that file which we saved with the name with extension of py, that will run, so which will be executed after. Okay, so that's how we'll. This is the first topic. Thank you for listening to the first topic. We'll go to the next topic. So we'll go to the Python basics now. Python basics, like first you'll start with the comments in Python. Then we'll start with variable declaration in the Python, data types in the Python, and type conversion in the Python, then operators in the Python. So why we are learning this? Normally any language other than the Python or including the Python, when it is the language is used for the communication. The here the Python is a language where we are using to communicate with the machine. It try to understand or interpret on its own language. So when we are talking about any language, that language will start with the alphabet or single unit, then words, then the words are again considered into the sentences, and the sentences should be within the grammar so that the receiver of the statement should also know the grammar so that he can understand how the words are combined to form the statement for explaining something in perfectly, right? So sender and receiver both should know that grammar. So machines already while we are installing the Python into the machine, it already will have the all that information. How a statement or a combination of the words can be decrypted or decoded. Then we should know to give some information to the system or a interpreter, Python interpreter. We should know what are the different basic units, like what are the variables, what are the data types, what are the static words, what are the keywords, then what are the operators. Then we should also know how to write a program based on the official grammar or a official statement for each method we are using. So for controls, we use the different structure of the code. For other for functions, we use for forming the data frames, for forming the data or using the different functions. We use the different structures of the total program. So that structures are nothing but the grammar, right? So initially we have to know how the Python, what is the grammar of the Python, or what are the different variables, what are the keywords, how we should frame something, write something in the Python. That we should know. So that means we are learning the Python language like other language, right? So comments in Python in general, comments are used in a programming language to describe a program or hide some part of the code from the interpreter. So why the comments are necessary? So you started writing the 10 lines code, 20 lines code, 30 lines code. You started writing 1000 line of code. But obviously you may be forgetting why you have written some code in the some 40 to 50th line. So you may be forgetting, or normally software companies make everything dependent on the systems, not individuals. So what it will take care of the things like when some developer is developing something and suddenly he leaves the company or he was assigned with another project, then new developer comes to his place. Then he should understand the code. How he understands the code? He can't. He has to debug the total code. So when he is debugging the total code which is written by the previous person, or the same person want to debug his own written code. In this scenario, the comments or a documentation helps the developers a lot. So documentation is mandate. So when you are writing some function, you have to write a comment that why that function was written. Otherwise, you will be remove, you will be asked to write the same by your project manager. If you don't know how to write the, if you don't know how to write the comments, or if you're not neglecting the documentation of your code, then they will think that you are not at all a software developer. So every time when you are writing the code, you have to write the documentation. What is documentation? Explaining the code. This can be, but when you're writing something in the same file, you're writing some 100 lines. Why these underlines are written? So that should be that should be written there. Where you should written, uh, if you are writing something, it will be interpreted by the compiler or interpreter. So it should be omitted. Then you have to write the same documentation or explanation of the any code in comments. So that is the main use of the comments. That is the reason here we are discussing comments in starting. Okay, comments in Python can be used to explain any program code. It can be also be used to hide the code as well. So comment is not part of the program, but enhance the interactivity of the program and makes the program readable. So mostly as a developer, either you'll be writing a comment to explain about the code, or if you want to hide some code, you have written something, that feature has to be hidden. Then what you will do, you'll simply keep that code in the comment, so that that feature will be lost. Again, some project manager today he says this feature is not required, remove it, and you will be removing. Then tomorrow again project manager says, no, 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 yesterday I told you to remove that code, that feature, na? You please again add it. So how you will again add it? Yeah, what the normal practice the developers will do? They'll keep them in separate place, or they'll hide it, so that interpreter will not understand it. And what it will do, it will omit that feature. When again project manager says, again you will be you will remove those comments. Again that feature will be coming. So comment is mandate. Using the comment is mandate for any developer. So Python supports two types of the comment, like single line comment and multi-line comment. Single line comment means when you are writing something, like here you can see hash. Then this single line comment, this line will be omitted by the interpreter. Okay, and the other thing will be executed. Multi-line comment means you have to use the three commas. Okay, then it will be this will be and you have to end this with the three commas. Then it will these three lines will be considered as a comment. Okay, so we'll come to that executing everything after 2 to 3 points. Okay, so then hello, yes, yes, then variable declaration in the Python. So a variable is a name. So coming to the comments is over. Okay, so comments can be done like that, but you have to remember that comment is very mandate in the industry. Commenting is mandate is in the sense. You have to practice explaining the thing. Okay, so a variable is a named memory location. Then coming to the variable declaration in the Python. So what is a variable? So variable is a something, an address. It's an address so that we can store for our use. You're going for a war, or then you have to use all your uh, weapons, right? Then how do you, where do you store those weapons? So there should be some space to keep your weapon. Or you're going for the exam, where you keep all your pen and hall tickets and all whatever you need to use over there while you're going for the exam. You need some space, right? You'll keep the pen in your pocket and watch to your hand, and hall ticket in your pocket, and or whatever you need, right? A pad, you'll keep it in one hand. So you need some location to place something. So variable again in this programming, it's a location, it's a memory location where we can store anything. You want to add two numbers, you need to store them somewhere, right? So those numbers, say you are storing A, right? Simply you're creating a variable called A. That means you're for that memory location, you're giving a name A and you're storing A is equal to 20. Means A is a memory location with the name A and we are storing 20. Like pocket, right? It is a name given to some space where you're keeping your pen, right? So pocket is the name of that space where you're keeping your pen, right? So in the same manner, variable is a named memory location in which we can store the values in a particular program. So variable is a name which is used to refer a memory location. Variable also known as identifier because we are giving some name like A is equal to 20. So in Python, we don't need to declare explicitly variable in Python, and we will assign any values to the variable that is declared automatically. So in Python, we don't need to specify the type of the variable like in C, like int A is equal to 20. That we need not to specify. Directly, we can write as A is equal to 20. So here you can see we are writing A is equal to 10, B is equal to study glance, which is a string, and A is equal to 10 is a integer, where A is a named identity for a memory location. It is assigned dynamically. And C is equal to 12.5. Okay, it is a float value. Okay, so like that. So in a loose type language, it is a loosely typed language. No need to specify the type of variable because the variable automatically changes its data type based on the assigned value. So, but we are when we are coming to the C or other things, tight tuple language, where we need to specify which category of for integer we have to specify as int A is equal to 10. For string, we have to specify string or char. For float, we have to specify float C is equal to 12.5, like that, right? So here we need not to specify anything before because it's a loosely tuple language. What it will do internally based on the value given, it will assign the memory dynamically. They're all okay. So that's about variable declaration in the Python. So coming to the rules for naming the variables, variable names can be a group of both letters and digits, but they have to begin with the letter or an underscore. We cannot start with the variable with a number. Okay, or okay, it is recommended to use the lowercase letter for a variable name, and it is a type sensitive. So some which is in capitals and some in small letters, both are different variables. Okay. So two topics, right? Two topics are over. Okay. So another thing is Python allows us to assign the value to multiple variables. Like we can do like x is equal to y is equal to 50. Okay. And then what happens for 50 will be allocated to the three variables. Okay. And a comma b comma c is equal to 5 comma 10 comma 15. When you write like this 5 will be allocated to the A, 10 will be allocated to the B, and C, 15 will be allocated to the C. Okay. So this is how we can assign to the multiple variables. Okay. Then before going to the basic core data types, advanced data types are there and basic core data types are there. Anyway, before going to that, we have discussed about uh, one is a comment, another one is the variable, creating the variable, right? So we'll execute that. First one is comment. So if I'm writing like some A is equal to and print print here. Okay. So and I'm also writing To print A, I am using to print A, I am using print function. Okay, so I want to execute, right? So here it is throwing the error because it is considering this as an error, right? So what we have to do, this is we want to explain the what we are doing over there. It is actually it should not be taken as a command. So what we have to do, we have to make it a comment, right? And then if we execute it, it will be executed, right? So what happened? This is taken as a comment, not as a statement which has to be interpreted. So that's how it was written. And I want to, because it's a huge line, I want to write in 2 to 3 lines, right? Then, so again, it started, it is considering these as a, it is considering these as a, what we call interpreted or code. So that is the reason, again, it is throwing the error, right? So what we have to do, we have to convert them into the comment, right? What happened? These 3 lines are converted into the comment, and this will be these 3 lines are converted, so it is won't take them as code, so consider them as code, so it will be considered as comment and it will execute the other code. Okay, so now it is executed, right? So this is how it's a single previous one is a single line, and this is a multi-line form, right? So for that we use a hash, and for this we use the comma. Next, we are going for the next command, that is variable create, right? We discussed about the variable, right? For going with the variables, what we discussed, there are we can dynamically we can uh, we can dynamically we can do create the any value like a is equal to 10. When we are doing like this, it will consider a will it will load the give the say for 10, it is an integer, right? It needs say 20, some 12 bytes, right, or 12 bits. Then it will create a memory location, or allocate the a to the it will create or allocate the memory location with 12 bits, and there it will store the 10, and then it will be named with the a. And if you are writing something string, right, or so Python, so it will be this creates a memory location where it can be it can store the Python. It needs more bits, right? So for this string, whatever dynamic memory is needed, it will be allocated, and that memory location is named with the B. So dynamic memory allocation is occurring. So here we need not to specify this as int A, or we need not to specify it as string B. Okay, so we can directly allocate the values here, and P is equal to some 12.7, right? So here, so this is how we are writing, we are allocating the variables and naming them. So A, B, C are identifiers of this particular identifiers of this particular memory location and identifiers of this value. So we call them as an identifier or a variable. Okay. So even in the JavaScript or some scripting languages, dynamic memory allocation is there. Okay. So you can see I'm printing A, B, C. It is not throwing the error. So and as we discussed, another thing is we can write like A is equal to B is equal to C is equal to some 50. Then it is consider it what it will do. It will consider uh, for every this 50 is stored in each individual. A is equal to 50, B is equal to 50, and C is equal to 50. Right? So it is printing print A and B and C. Okay. Then we also discussed another thing like A comma B comma C is equal to 5 comma 6 comma 7. So what it will do, 5 will be stored in A and B will be stored in the uh, B will be stored in 6 will be stored in B and C will be stored with 7. Okay, this is about the variable. We'll go to the next topic, that is basic data types in Python. So in general, data type specifies what type of data will be stored in variables. So variables can hold the values of different data types. So here, as I said, it is a dynamically typed or loosely typed language. So we need not to define the type of the variable while declaring it. The interpreter implicitly binds the value with type. So when we type the type of function, will provide us to check the variable type, which type it is. Okay. So like Python provides the following standard data types. Those are numbers, string. Okay. So number stores the numerical value. So Python creates a number type variable where number is assigned to any variable. And there are three numeric types in Python, that is int, float, and complex. Okay, like coming to the int, like 10 is equal to 8, 12 is minus 12, all these are int, right? So int or integer as a whole number, positive or negative, without decimals of unlimited length. And coming to the float, floating point number is a number, like 1.0 is a floating point number, right? And it contains the one or more decimals, like 3 is one decimal, 4 is also right. Then complex numbers are written using the j as a imaginary part, like a is equal to 2 plus 5j is as a complex number. Okay. And c is equal to minus 6j is a complex number. Okay. So these are the number type data. Okay. Then coming to the string. String can be defined as a sequence of characters represented in a quotation mark. Normally we will use this triple quotes or a double quotes or a using single quote. We can use all quotes with in the case of string handling, the operator press is used for concatenating the two strings, right? And like hello plus Python, which will return the hello Python. Okay. So so this is about the string. So what is string? It's a sequence of characters. Okay? So example is, right, like for string, if you want to know what is the type of any variable, we will be using the type of that variable identifier. Like a is equal to 10 means a is an identifier or variable name, right? So type of a means it will throw us what type of data it is. If I'm writing b is equal to Python, then it will throw the class string. If I'm writing 10.5, it will throw us the class float. And type conversion in Python provides the explicit type conversion function to directly convert one data type to the another. So that means a float can be, or int can be converted into the float. Okay, and float can be conquered. So when we want to convert one data into the another category, one type of data into the another category, we use the type casting, that we call as type conversion in the Python. So Python supports int, which will convert any function, which will convert any data type into the integer. Float of. So this function is used to convert any data type to a floating point number. str. This will function is convert any data type to string. Why it is required normally? So when you are, say you are using a Google any form, you are creating a, you have written a form, then a number you are sending the data in terms of a string to the backend. But there a program a function is written. Some a is equal to a is considered as a string, and a is equal to 10 is written. But it is a is equal to value 10 is inserted into the a. But it is considered as string. Then what happens when we are adding the plus? It will be concatenated, not added, or it will throw the error. So before doing so a is plus b, where a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20. A plus b will become the 30 when they are integers. If they are strings, what the output a plus b is a 10, 20, because strings will when we are using a plus in the strings, it will be concatenated. So there what we have to do, we have to convert them into the integer, then we have to apply the this operation. So in this case, typecasting is required. So we can convert any data type to integer using the int. Exceptions will be there. And float, any float, we can convert any number into the floating point number using the float function. We can convert any, you want to print something concatenated. We want to print 10, we are sending 10 to the A, and we are sending 20 to the B, or we are sending our data birth. Then we want to print them as a string. Then we have to convert that integer into the string. Otherwise, it will not be. It will throw the error, right, when we are using the plus or plus operation, concatenate the integer value. So that is the reason date of birth is, or your registration number. Maybe you are having this numerical value. They should be concatenated. Uh, all these uh, operations need typecasting whenever they require. So in this scenario, we have to convert one type of data into the another type. So here 2.8 is a float, right? It is converted into the integer using the int of 2.8, and this x will be holding the concatenated and truncated value 2. This 3, which is in string, you can see the comment means 3 is a string considered as here string. Why? Because it is kept in the comment or quotes, right? So not comments, it is kept in the quotes. So when we are keeping the 3 in the quotes, it is considered as a string. So this should be converted into the int. So and it is stored in the y and float also, right? So before going to the uh, data types, type function, as well as the type function and typecasting. One minute, my laptop power is 1 minute, please. So we discussed about the type command, okay, where we will be knowing the what type of data it is, because we have to know. And there is typecasting, where we use the int to float string function to cast some data into the another, right? We'll check it out. Okay, we'll check that. These two functions we'll check. Then we'll go to the next topic. What I did wrong. One minute. Okay, I forgot to use I used the plus instead of using the comma. So here, what it is doing, the type of variable A is, and we are using the type function. What it is displaying? It is class int, right? And for the B, it will be displayed as a class string, and C, it will be displayed as class float, right? Okay, so this is how we can understand which type of data it is, and we can use that in the program. If it is string, then there is chance of occurrence of the error, then we will convert them to the string if it is required, right? In the scenarios I told. So another category, if you want to change something, if you want to change the C into the integer, right? So print C will display, print C will display 12.7, right? So if we want to convert that into the integer, initially it is in the float, right? You want to convert that into the integer. Then you can convert that using the uh, int of C, right? So if you are converting that into the int of C, after that, so here coming to the operator. So we have learned data with data types, then typecasting, okay, and the type function also. Then we are discussing operators in Python. So operators can be defined as a symbol. It is responsible for a particular operation between two operands. Right? So when we are talking about plus means, as I said, if it is a number, it will be added. It is considered as a arithmetic operation. If you are working with the plus, it, on a two string, the meaning of the plus is changed and it is concatenated. So plus or minus or star, all these are the arithmetic operators. So in a statement, operators and operands will be there. Operands are you are whenever they are in the right or left, or when operators is in between the operands, a statement will be generated. Like here we do addition, a is equal to 20, b is equal to 10, then a plus b is equal to 30, right? So here um, for addition it is used. For subtraction we use the minus, and for multiplication we use the star, right? For dividing we use the uh, here we'll get when we use the a is equal to 20 and b is equal to 10. When we write a by b, then we'll get the 2. Then we when you want the remainder, then we use the percentage. And for floor division we use the double slash, and for the exponent we use the double star. So in membership operators, in like we have a arithmetic operations, we are also having the membership operators. Like in true, if the value is present in the data structure, not in true if the value is not present in the data structure. Like these are the membership. So if we are giving a list, in that we are checking whether a value is in that list or not. Then it will return a true or a false value uh, when any value is in the list or not. Okay. Then comparison operators, like double equal to is to compare. When a is equal to b we are writing, a double equal to b we are writing, it will compare a and b and it will throw the output as true. Okay. Not equal to means exclamatory mark, and equal to, it will check whether a is not equal to b, or it will throw there. Then less than or equal to, greater than or less than, all these are the what we call comparison operator. Then bitwise operator, it will perform the binary and binary. When we use the and, it will perform the binary and operation. When we use the pipe symbol, it will perform the binary or operation. When we use the binary XOR, it will perform the binary XOR operation. So like that, bitwise operate. For bitwise operation, we use the AND pipe symbol and cap symbol. Okay, so all these symbols are used left shift and right shift, double less than for the left shift, and right shift for double greater than is for the right shift. Then assignment operator. So when we use the single equal to, a is equal to 10 means we are assigning the 10 to the a, and we are writing b is equal to a. That means the 10 which is in the a will be allocated to the b. But if you are writing b double equal to a, then what it will return? It is a comparison operator. So it will return a Boolean value, whether true or false. It is to check whether b is equal to a or not. So for comparison, we use the double equal to. For assignment, we will use the single equal to. And logical operator. So these are also will give us the Boolean output, that is true or not. Then identity operator. If it returns true if both variables are the same object, or is not, will be returns true if both variables are not the same object. So normally in the object or a variables, we use the is or is not to check to compare the two values. Okay, and in the assignment operator, you can check with the percentage equal to assignment after the modulus. It will perform the modulus operator and it will add the remainder. It will assign the value after the calculating the exponent. It will double slash equal to, it will assign the after floor division. So these are the bitwise operators. So what we discussed in the operators: arithmetic operators, membership operators, comparison operators, bitwise operators, assignment operators, logical operators, and identity operators. Okay. So we'll practice this. You can practice this. I'll show few like arithmetic and comparison operators and logical assignment operators. Okay. Different operators, right? At the different operators. Then we'll complete that. We'll go to the next topic after completing the operator. So we have different functions, right? We have different functions. One is basically we discussed the arithmetic operator. So the arithmetic operators we can write like x is, say x is equal to x is equal to 10 and 30 as 10 and y is equal to 3. Then you want to do the arithmetic operator. If you want to print x plus y, okay, so it will print the x plus y. What is that? 13, right? If you want to print the x plus x minus y, it will print the x minus y. Okay. So here what we are doing, we are using here instead of variable, we are using the curly braces which are used to consider it as a statement which contains the function, the operator and operator and operand combination. Okay, so this is considered as a value, and the output of this x plus y will be displayed over there. So you can see the addition. Then this is x is added with the y, and it is displayed here or there. Okay. Then coming to the, if you want to do the addition, subtraction, as well as the exponent. So we can check with this. So these are the examples of the arithmetic operator. Okay. So the second example, this is the comparison operator, like where we'll compare two values. If you are writing x is equal to y, then what happens? The y value will be stored in the x. If you want to compare whether uh, x is equal to y or not, we will have to use the double equation, right? So I am storing a is equal to 15 and b is equal to 8. Then I am checking whether a is equal to b or not. With how I will check? I can check using the I can check using the a is equal to b, right? If you want to check whether a is not equal to b, then I'll use the a exclamatory mark, then equal to and b. Then it will, if it is not equal to b, then it will return the true. So a is not equal to b, so it will return the true. So in the same manner, if I'm writing something like is a is greater than b, what I should use? I should use a greater than b. Then it will check whether a is greater than b or not. Here a is greater than b, right? So it will check and it will give us the output as true. If the writing A is less than B, it will give us the false, right? So this is how comparison operators work. All this is the false or true. Okay, these gives the Boolean values that we call as true or false. These Boolean values, when we use the comparison operators, we'll get the output true or false. Okay, so that is about the uh, this comparison operator. Okay, then another we discussed about logical operator. Okay, so is Sunny okay? What we are logical operators can be used whenever we want to check whether it is true or not. And we also discussed about the many other things like in the presentation, uh, member of, member of is also there, right? We have discussed about member of uh, operator. Now, member of operator. That means when we are having a list, any any we can check whether anything is a member for that or not. So how we can in Python we can create the list by simply by using the any variable name. So here my underscore list is the variable name, and we can use a bracket uh, for 10 comma like 20 comma 30 comma 40 comma 50. So this is creating a list, right? So if I want to know anything, so if I want to know, it is a list type. My list is a list type. So if I print my underscore list, it will bring all the values which are in the list, right? So we'll come to the list point next time. But now we are talking about the different operators. Now we are discussing about the member of. So we're in or not in. We are checking the in or not in. So I want to check print. Okay. Then I want to check whether who is in of what is the list here? My list, my underscore list. So my list is what variable which is created for the values 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Right? So 2 is not in the list. So this in is an operator which will check for whether anything is in the particular list or a value is in that list or not. Okay? So if I write 10 over here, actually 10 is there or 20 is there now. So if I write 20, it will throw the true. It is throwing the true, right? So that is how we can take for any value is that is in the list or not. So we want to check a student whether he is in the shortlisted candidate or not. Simply you can use that the student with the registration whether he is in the shortlisted or not by checking using the in operator. And if you are using the not in, so if you are using the not in, so what it will throw? It will false because like 20 is in the my list, right? And but you are writing checking with the not in, so it will throw the false, right? So this is an in and not in uh, example. Then we also discussed about is or not identity operator. The previous one we discussed is the membership operator. The next is or is not identity operator. So these are used to check if two variables refer the same object in the memory, not just they have the same value or not. So is or is not are the operators which will check two variables refer the same object in the memory. So how, so if I'm creating a list 1, which is equal to some 1, comma 2, comma 3, right? Then what I'm doing, I'm creating list 2 equal to list 1. So what happened here? The list one memory location is have an ident. So 1, 2, 3 stored in is created as a list and stored in some memory location, and it is named with the identifier list 1. And what I'm doing, list 2, again I'm creating another identifier, and I'm assigning the memory location which storing these values to the list 2. That what happens, it is the same object stored in the memory location, but it is referred with two identifiers. One is with the list 1 and another one is the list 2. So, right? So, list 2 now refers to the same object as the list 1, right? So, if I am creating list 3 is equal to 1, comma 2, comma 3. Okay. So, what is happened? I created the new object, new object in a different location. The same, these 1, 2, 3 values may be changed, but it is a new object which is stored in different memory location and which is named with the new identifier. Okay. So list 1 is equal to list 2, but list 3 is not equal to list 1 because it is a different object with different memory location, right? So how do I check it? Right. I'll check it. 1 minute. I'll check print check is list 1 is list 2. Okay. So I am using the colon and I want to display some value or here. What value? The output of this is operator. Now what we are checking? Identity operator. We are checking the identity of whether two identities are same or not, or they are different. That we check. So we are checking whether list 1 is equal to list or not. So how we are checking list 1 is list 2, right? You read that list 2 and we are closing with the double quotation. Okay. So what it will do, this statement is having the operator, identity operator is, and it will check whether both list 1 and list 2 are same or not. Okay. So it is printing 6 is list 1 is has equal identity as list 2 or not. So it is showing true. I'll make the change with list 3. So list 1 is not equal to the list 3. Why? Because the list 3 is different object and list 1 is different object. So it is throwing the false. In the previous case, list 1 and 2 are same because we are simply we are mapping to the same object. This list 1 is an identifier which contains the value of 1, 2, 3 in some memory location. Same memory location is mapped to the list 2. So that is the reason when we check the identity, both are same. So list 1 is list 2. It should show true, right? Let me again run the command using shift enter. So check is so here it is showing the true, right? So these are the again extra operators other than these uh, arithmetic operator, comparison operator, bitwise operator, whatever we discussed. Normally, these operators you use. Other than that, these are the two more rarely used in the programming. It is frequently used, but they are rarely discussed, right? So here, comparison operators, bitwise operators, assignment or operators, and logical, then membership and identity operators. Okay, so these are the different examples for the operators. So in this presentation, where we have gone. One minute, 1 minute. We'll go to the next topic. Just yeah. Sorry. So now we'll discuss the another next topic. So operators are over. We'll go to the next topic. Okay. So before going to the control statement, you have to know indentation in the Python. Indentation means the tab space you give. So the control statement is the combination of it is having a combination of the different lines of the structure. Normally control statement, so when we are talking about not single line, multiple lines as a common concept, we have to know the indentation. Indentation means the space you give, tab space or some space you give in the Python, and then based on the space, the Python will decrypt the thing. So indent, that we call indentation. So in Python, indentation is used to declare a block. If two statements are in the same indentation level, then they are a part of the same block. Like for ease of the programming and achieve simplicity, Python doesn't allow the use of curly braces or parentheses. In the C, to represent a block of code, it uses the curly braces, right? But here in the Python, it simply uses if they are in, they are started with the same gap from the left side, then they're considered as a common indentation or a common block of code. It is a single block of code. So indentation is most used part of the Python programming language. Generally, a tab space or a 4 spaces are given to indent the statements in Python. Okay, so that we'll see. Then conditional statements in the Python. Okay, these conditional statements perform the different computations or actions depending on the condition. So if the candidate is we are working on the robots. We are working on the robot. If some object comes in between the path which is given to us, then what it should do, it will wait until the object is removed, or it has to find the new path without going to that without going or what we call whatever going directly in the same path. When an object is there, it has to find the new path, so it should not hit the object which is in between the path. So what is the scenario is, based on the condition, it is doing some other feature. Normally what it has to do, it has to go in the same path, but suddenly an object comes. What it has to do, it has to check that if condition, some object is coming. So it has to wait whether the object is moving, wait, and it will wait and will check whether in 1 to 2 minutes is it moving or not, or the object which is obstacle, is it being removed or not, or it is going from the path or not. Then If it is not going from the path or it is not being removed, then what it has to do? It has to find the new path and start going in the new path. So this we call as a conditional statement, right? So these conditional statement uses to check whether a condition is satisfied or not. Otherwise, it will based on the condition satisfied, it will do the some task. So that we call as if else, if else if. So these are the conditional statements. So when how do we write the if statement? The if statement is used to test the specific condition. If the condition is true, then a block of code will be executed. Otherwise, it will skip that code. The block out code will not be executed. That is a simple if. If you are use like if the condition colon, then you can see the indentation. The statements are started after the tab. Those statement 1, statement 2 will be executed. So if condition statement 2, statement 1 and statement 2 will be executed. Otherwise, if the condition is not satisfied, it will omit or leave these both statements. For example, here A is equal to 36, B is equal to 200, right? If B is greater than A, it has to print B is greater than A and print done, right? So if what is the condition it is checking? It is using the conditional operator and it is checking B is greater than A or not, which will return true or false. If it is returning the true, then these two statements which are in this will be executed. Otherwise, it will not execute these two statements. Okay. So, okay, let me, I'm writing A is equal to some 20, B is equal to some 30. I'm using the if A is greater than B. So, 10 colon. If I write, what I'm doing, I have given a tab space. I'm writing something here. Print the A is greater than B. So here I'm printing another that is done. So what I'm doing, I'm using the same tab space for both lines. So both lines will be executed if this is successful, right? Then I'm using another print backspace print. This is executed after this is executed after if block, right? So this is executed after if block. So what happens now? Initially, this will return what it will return. It will return the false. It will not return the true. Why? Because A is not greater than B. So this two will not be executed. Then it will execute this. Okay, first will try this. Oh, sorry. So what happened? This is executed after if block is executed, right? Because these two lines are not executed because this condition fails. So if works, first if will be executed when the condition is satisfied. So we'll change the condition less than a is less than b, right? And okay, so now we'll try to execute. Now it has to execute this block. Then after that, there is no indentation is removed to backside, right? So this print is does not belong to this if. Only these two lines belong to this if, right? So these two lines will be executed because the condition is satisfied. Then it will come out of this if and this will execute this. Okay? So three lines will get, right? Yeah. And the A is less than B, this line is executed, then done is also printed, then this is executed after if block. This is also executed, right? So like that, how the if works, if condition colon, then these two, then the block, how do we consider this block which belongs if we are, after this we are giving a tab space. Then the lines are which are in the same indent are considered to be part of this if. So these two will be executed if this is true. This condition is true, returns the true value. If the condition does not return the true value, this block will not be executed and it will execute the next line which does not belong to the this if, that is this line. Okay, so I hope all of you